Who's backed up both directions between Manchester and Ladue, a little busy. The southbound side, though, remains slow past 44. Westbound 44 approaching 270 through 141, still busy in pockets from an earlier crash. Eastbound 44 is at 55. Eastbound 70 is at Salisbury through the heart of downtown. Westbound 64 backed up at 3rd Street. Southbound 55, Arsenal to Bates, you've got delays. Westbound 64, Jam Boyle to Clayton Skinker. Slow most of the way to Hanley. West of McKnight to 270. West of Timberlake, it's slow all the way to the Boone Bridge, and again from the Boulevard out to 70 after that. Next update at 5:20 from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we are more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour, Matt Pauley at the ballpark. Kevin Wheeler in the studios at KMOX in shadow, like I'm an anonymous interviewee, like I'm a former mob boss that's doing an interview, and I got to protect my identity. That's just the way our studio is, man. There's just sunlight behind me, and it just makes me look like I'm in shadow. Hi, Matt Pauley.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. We got a lot to do. A little bit of a short show today, just like yesterday. We'll be done at 5:45. Pregame starts at 5:50. First pitch at 6:45. Cardinals and the Tigers. Big win, I thought, for the Cardinals yesterday, with today being a day where you're facing one of the best starters in baseball. Although the Cardinals have handled some of the top starters they faced reasonably well, so maybe it's not as daunting as it seems when you see Tarek Skubal on the mound tonight.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, Paul Skeens is the guy that comes to mind first that they've had success against. They've beat Paul Skeens even when Skeens is good. They've beat Paul Skeens when Skeens isn't good. So, I think we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I think they enjoy the challenge of going against the best of the best.
Absolutely. So we got a lot to do. We got a few thoughts of our own. We'll get to our peak performer. We'll talk a bit about the lineup and various things. But, on Tuesdays moving forward, we're going to pull a couple of clips from the manager. So obviously Ollie Marmol appears on the Gas House Gang every Tuesday and spends 30 minutes with Bernie and Ranj today. And Tom is there too, but Tom was not in the show today. And, you're going to hear directly from the manager. He sees the comments. He replies to some of the comments. He's paying attention, but he's answering questions from the guys in the studio, and certainly they're bringing questions from the chat and all that too. So they try to cover as much as they can, but I think it's a lot easier to be on that show for Ollie now when you've won 13 of 15 and you're on a 93 win pace and you just beat Detroit last night after a 7-2 road trip. Things are good right now, man.
They're really good. I mean, they're the hottest team in the National League. One of the things I talked about with Kansas City leading into when they played the Royals was Kansas City went on that really good streak, but they did it against bad teams. And the Cardinals are on this streak right now, and they're doing it against good teams. And look, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule. I'm not trying to lift anybody up or put anybody down because of who they're playing against, but I do think there's a little bit more credibility to the results when you are doing against some good teams like the Phillies, like the Tigers.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of the interesting things today that Ollie said on the Gas House Gang. A couple of directions to go here. One of them was just a little bit more detail on moving Nolan Arenado down in the lineup yesterday, and Ollie explaining some of that. So you want to set that up?
Yeah, so that's basically it. This is him talking about how that all ended up playing out.
So much respect for Nato, because you can have a conversation with him, and he does a really nice job of coming in and letting you know how he's feeling and what he has going on mentally, physically. And we sat down in Kansas City, and prompted by him, he walked in. I was doing a little bit of work, and he came in and said, "Hey, let's talk about kind of what's going on at the moment." And he did a really nice job of explaining, here's what I'm working on. There's certain days it feels really good in my pregame work, and it's not carrying out onto the field. I'm seeing the ball well. But if in this next little stretch you want to move the lineup around a little bit, like, just know that you've got zero issues from my end. So he kind of prompted the conversation, and we talked through what that would look like. And it was really good. But this guy's a pro, man. He's done it for a long time. He's one of the best to ever play this game. And for him to be able to articulate that and have that conversation is awesome when you're in my seat. So we sat back down yesterday and talked through a couple things and decided to go ahead and do it. And how long we hold it for, who knows? I'm not too worried about that. But as he's working through carrying out the work that he's doing in the cage onto the field, we felt like the timing of it was good, and we both agreed to move forward with it starting yesterday.
Yeah, and it was a move that we had talked about a week and a half ago. You and Bernie and I kind of kicked that around, Matt, because it was obvious it needed to happen. And it was not even so much about Arenado, even though it partly is. It's as much about Contreras and Herrera being as good as they are.
Right.
This is an interesting situation because you have the option of moving up two guys, and we could actually make a great argument that he should also fall in behind Burleson too. Like Nolan should probably be hitting 7th or 8th at this point, but I understand the politics that go into that. I'm glad that Nolan is not going to let himself be concerned with those things. But he also said something, yesterday in the conversation about all of this that was interesting to me, Matt, and I think it's the next part of this conversation, which is he said he doesn't know if it's going to come back.
Yeah.
And honest to God, there is nothing in his performance that suggests that this is a short-term thing. It's been 3 straight years of it gradually getting worse. The bat speed is up this year a little from last year, but nothing else is. And the actual performance, believe it or not, has been a little bit on the lucky side, where some of the underlying stuff suggests he's lucky to have the numbers that he does. So if it doesn't come back, I don't think it's that big of a deal so long as the rest of the lineup continues to produce. If he has to hit 6th or 7th and just play great defense because he is playing great defense, okay, no big deal. But if it ends up becoming a problem, you've raised this a few times, if it ends up becoming a problem for the offense later, then we got to start finding some days off.
I wouldn't be against the days off now, just to see if his body having a little less wear tear on it might actually help those numbers bump up a little bit. We see that happen with guys later in their careers where it just makes sense to get them on the bench for a few days. And then all of a sudden on the days that they do play, the numbers look better. And then you have to stay disciplined in continuing to give guys their days off. So we might be en route to that spot. But I think if you look at who he is from an offensive standpoint right now, from a defensive standpoint, if you're able to, let's start at the 9 spot. If you go Victor Scott II and then turn over to Nootbaar and Wynn and Donovan and Herrera and Contreras, and I'm probably missing somebody in there as I talk about this really quickly off the top of my head.
Mason Wynn.
Okay. So
did you say that?
I think so, but it doesn't really matter.
Either
That's
way.
the point that I'm trying to make is that like group of 6 guys back to back.
Yeah.
That's a really good offensive group right now. And it's okay. And I didn't even mention Alec Burleson.
Right.
It's okay if you have a spot or two down at 6, 7, 8 that maybe is not performing at the highest level.
I totally agree. And that's why it's not a big deal, right? Nobody's pounding the table or shouldn't be. This isn't about a screamy, yelly thing. It's just kind of like looking at what's going to come next, because right now Arenado is 9% below average offensively. That's not somebody who should hit in the top 5 or 6 in the order, but it doesn't matter when you're winning. So when you're winning, you've got the luxury of time. And I thought, we're going to get into another topic, from Ollie in a second, Matt, but this one kind of ties off it, because another thing that Ollie said today, or acknowledged today, maybe the better way to put it, was, I'm paraphrasing, but he told Bernie and Ranj that, look, sometimes our moves are going to come slower than you might want them to, because we're going to be patient, because we want these things to get better. And that's fine. Like we talked about that yesterday. There is going to be a different timeline between you and I, and when fans see or believe that something needs to change, and when the team is going to do it. And we can use Miles Michaelis right now as the example of why the team does that. The team was right about Miles. All the rest of us were wrong. Right? I mean, that's
the numbers would tell you that right now.
Right. I mean, he's been amazing in May. He's been phenomenal. And that's why the team is patient. And so I need to do a better job of reminding myself of that. Like when they're being extra patient with a guy, sometimes it's because they can come out of it on the other side. Sometimes they won't. Maybe more often they won't. But that's why the team is more patient than we are.
I think there's a lot of like tentacles off of this beyond just that. I also think there's the idea of, if you are known as a manager who's going to have all these knee-jerk reactions, well, that creates an environment in the clubhouse that's not great, where all of a sudden guys start looking over their shoulders, and maybe sometimes you do need to look over your shoulder. Ryan Fernandez is an example of it not getting better, and eventually him being sent down. But if Miles Michaelis all of a sudden starts to feel like his spot is really in jeopardy following his Boston start, Well, maybe it looks a little bit different for the way he comes out of that.
I don't know. Maybe that's part of what helped him kick it into gear. Is the fact that Ollie did say he and Palante both, hey, we got to consider everything. And both guys have been better since that conversation. So it can work both ways. But yeah, the team is always going to be slower than we are. And this is why, whether we agree with that or not, this is why, because sometimes it turns around. Other times it doesn't, and then they're going to be forced into a move. All right, coming up next, we got another piece from Ollie today, another interesting one where he's talking a bit about managing the situation with guys like Walker and Gorman and working to get better while the playing time's not there. We'll hit on that coming up next here on the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about my friends over at i3 Broadband. So this is a 100% true story. Obviously, we had storms that came through and some just terrible things that happened. And internet is something that if you can have it in your home during this, it's a really important thing just from a lifeline and from a communication standpoint. I was talking to my next door neighbor on Saturday afternoon, and she said to me, has your internet come back yet? And I said to her, my internet never went away. And that's true of i3 Broadband. I'm not trying to use a tragedy or anything like that to sell you internet, but internet's a really important thing. And having a company that can provide you service that's reliable during all situations, that's something that you can say about i3 Broadband. They're more reliable during severe weather because of their investment in underground infrastructure throughout all of St. Louis. The right-of-ways, easements, right up to your home, everything is underground, so it keeps it going. That doesn't even mention how awesome the service is, how quick it is, the price you can get in starting at $19.99 a month for one of their packages. See if they're available in your neighborhood. You're not going to go without internet when you've got i3 Broadband. i3broadband.com. Put your address in, i3broadband.com.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
Traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
This traffic report's a service of Terrace Senior Living of Eureka. Hearing that, if you're on eastbound 270, you still have a jam. Let's call it almost Bellefontaine over to the Canal Bridge. We had a crash there. Westbound 70, heavy stuff from West Florissant all the way through Jennings Station. It's backed up approaching 170 to a crash just past Cypress. The exit to Lindbergh's blocked by this crash. Involves the tractor trailer, according to our KMOX commuter Paul, who's traveling through the area. Southbound 170 on the brakes from north of Olive down to 64. Westbound 64 jam by Boyle out to McCausland. It's slow Lindbergh to 270 both directions. through the Chesterfield Parkways are heavy. Westbound, though, goes out to Boone's Crossing. And again, 364 to 70. Southbound 270s on the brakes. Page down to Ladue. Pockets down to about Doherty Ferry. Westbound 44, Bowles to west of 141, still slow from an earlier crash. East and westbound 44 downtown, heavy through the Arch Grounds. In fact, eastbound 70 delays west of Salisbury. Westbound 64, heavy at 3rd Street. Southbound 55, Arsenal through Bates, the usual delays. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
This is the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Matt, Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Matt at the ballpark. I'm at KMOX. Getting ready for Cardinals and Tigers tonight, 6:45 for the first pitch, 5:50 for the pregame show. All right, Matt, so we talked a bit about some of the other things that Ollie Marmol said on Gas House Gang today. And there's another part that's interesting. And we touched on it briefly, you and Bernie and I, but we didn't have a lot of time to flesh it out because of the way the show went with the press conference involving the storms and things along those lines. So we had a little bit of an interruption in there that kind of got us out of the line on that. But we did touch on it briefly, this topic of, kind of still trying to develop guys like Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman while you're winning games.
Yeah, and, there's a lot of talk today, and Ollie had a lot of candor, was very honest in saying, look, Alec Burleson, you can't keep him out of the lineup.
Not right now.
So if he continues to swing it, especially against right-handers the way he has, the number one that's going to most impact Nolan Gorman. It was already tough to get him in the lineup before, but it's really tough right now. So he talked about how you handle those players when they're just not going to see very much playing time.
The one thing you want to make sure of that there's communication. They're not in the clubhouse guessing when the next time they're going to play, right? That you want to make sure you plan it out for them and say, hey, here's what we're thinking. Here's who we're facing over the next 6 days. Here's where we see your at-bats coming, and just prepare for that. But it definitely helps when you're a player that's not in there every day to have a good understanding of what the manager's thinking, what the bench coach is thinking, and how we're planning for your at-bats rather than being in the dark. So we'll continue to communicate as much as we can. But he'll get in there. But it's not the easiest at the moment.
No, it's a great point, Matt. And look, yesterday I asked you and Bernie, we, again, didn't have a lot of time for it, so we can spend these next few minutes kind of getting deeper into this because Ollie's referring to it there. This idea of trying to find lanes for these guys like they find lanes for relief pitchers.
Yeah.
And that's really what helped Matthew Liberatore find confidence and find what his game is at the major league level by working in the pen last year. And now he's carrying that over. Maybe some form of a part-time role where those guys get into lanes that work for them. Or, hey, look, there's going to be a time when Lars Nootbaar needs to take a couple days off. There's going to be a time where somebody else is slumping or somebody gets hurt, and the playing time is going to be more regular. So I wonder if it's a little tougher for a position player because hitting's already hard. and it's not as easy to be like, play 1 or 2 days a week and really build on it. But it's the only option right now when you're playing well, and it's not like they're holding those guys back for old guys.
Yeah, again, and let's give Alec Burleson the credit here. Like, he's another younger guy who has excelled, and they're giving him the opportunity that he has gone out and earned.
Yeah, he's got 1,000 OPS in May, man. In April he wasn't hitting well, and there was an argument he should come out, but now there's no argument for that.
None whatsoever. And you ride the hot streak. I don't think this team has always been great about riding hot streaks, and I think this year they've done a really good job on that, and that goes along with what the record is. That's just being smart. They have been smarter this year than they've been in previous years. I'm not trying to avoid your question, Kevin. I don't know what the answer is because there isn't that obvious way to do it with position players the way you do it with relief pitchers and finding those spots, because honestly, going and finding a random pinch hit at bat for a guy, or even getting him one start a week against a pitcher that's advantageous, does that really help them get better? It's different. And the focus is still on, well, you're getting one at bat or you're getting one start like this. I don't know if that makes guys get better. So I think in this situation, the work that you put in during the day is that much more important, where you're able to work through these things. And hopefully when you do get those opportunities, you have success. And then that opens up the chance to have more opportunities beyond that.
The problem is you don't know if the things you're working on are working if you're not playing.
No.
So that's why I'm saying finding those lanes, even if it's just twice a week, where they can get some consistent feedback on whether or not they're getting the results from their pregame work, their daytime work is going to be helpful. And finding it as an example, picking the right matchups for them. So you're not going to put Jordan Walker out there against a slider specialist. It's just not going to be a good idea, right? So you find a different matchup for him. And look, this can also be not now because of the stretch you're on, but you've said it a bunch of times. You have to take Arenado out sometimes. He's not a part of your long-term future. He is going to be a part. I think what we're learning with Nolan is you're probably not going to be able to trade him. So, but you're going to have to reduce the playing time at some point. Not on a day when you need defense, and not even every day. But instead of 6 or 7 games a week for Arenado, maybe it's 4 or 5. And that's a way. Now, but these guys have to earn it. This is my point, is if they start to show you some things, that's an option. Resting Newt once in a while, an option. Resting Victor Scott once in a while, an option.
We're starting to see some things from Jordan Walker.
I know. A couple of it. That's good, right? This is my point.
Yeah. And Ollie did talk about that today and said that in one of his most recent sessions during the day, they put in a tweak and they have directly seen results from that tweak. Yeah. So that goes to your point, Kevin. Okay, so Jordan's in there. He's not hitting. They go back to work. He's not hitting. Back to work. Not hitting. Back to work. Oh, this works.
Some feedback.
Now let's go from there. So if you're Nolan Gorman and you're not hitting, but you're not in, and you're not hitting, and you're not in, and you're not hitting, and you're not in, it makes it much more challenging.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. There's no easy answer. We're just trying to piece it all together like the team is. All right, stick around. We got a lot more to do before we get to 5:45. That's when we wrap it up. Cardinals and the Tigers coming up 6:45 on KMOX.
When you retire, the paycheck from your job will likely stop. But here's what won't stop: bills, taxes, and medical issues. Sure, there's Social Security, but that may not be enough. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you potential ways to develop a new stream of income that can last as long as you live. Kind of like having your own personal pension. You won't have to worry about whether the market is up or down or who's sitting in the White House. You can spend your time instead on the things that matter, like family, friends, and doing the things you never had time to do before. Call Steve All today at 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 and schedule a custom income review at no charge, or find us online at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Andrew Suntrup. Buying your brand new Buick or GMC has never been easier. Here at Suntrup Buick GMC, our family-owned and operated dealership has been proudly servicing St. Charles County for over 30 years by always providing aggressive pricing, a massive inventory selection, and exceptional customer service. Buying from Suntrup means you get the best vehicle at the best price. Visit Suntrup Buick GMC today or visit us online at suntrupbuickgmc.com and save more at Suntrup Buick GMC.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Go to nordiciusa.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
At 5:30, sunshine and 78 downtown at the Arch. In the aftermath of the tornado, Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell says he's spoken with FEMA and they will be here tomorrow.
They will be on the ground, and then they'll start their what are called damage assessments. those damage assessments take 3 to 4 days.
Bell says the findings go into approving the governor's request for a disaster declaration. Although the Urban League's building was damaged during the tornado, James Clark says their first priority was to the community. They went door to door in the area with staff and more than 75 volunteers.
Some needed water, most needed flashlights, some needed food. We ran into some families that needed diapers.
Clark says he's never seen such devastation, and he wonders what the historic Ville neighborhood will look like in a month. On the bright side, he says the generosity of the business community and citizens has been invigorating.
People who really normally don't travel into North St. Louis showed up, and they'll say, look, I just want to bring a couple of cases of water. And those cases of water, just as soon as they are dropped off, they're going out into the community.
Clark says he doesn't think many of the damaged buildings are fixable, and they need to figure out what that means for families and the neighborhoods moving forward. After the power outage, like many had in the wake of the tornado, what is safe to eat from your freezer or fridge?
Mercy St. Louis dietitian Jennifer Maslowski says the website foodsafety.gov is a good resource. Typically, whenever perishable food gets over 41 degrees, it's no good. That's about 4 hours in the fridge during an outage and can be up to 2 days in the freezer.
Things with visible ice crystals, like bags of vegetables that still have ice crystals in them, or large chunks of meat or roast that are still frozen solid. You can go ahead and still use those, or you can transfer those to your ice chest.
Maslowski also says to be careful with picnic sandwiches or grilled items left out in the open air for very long. They can start to grow contaminants quicker than you might think. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
We've got some showers coming in tonight, but they will quickly fade. Then a clear sky for the overnight, low 55. Sunshine tomorrow, high 70. Clear sky tomorrow night, low 50. And for Thursday, sunshine, a little cooler for May, and a high of 68. Right now, we've got sunshine. It is 78 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res a call today. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them that Dave Glover sent you.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
Matt Pauley and Kevin Wheeler with you here, and obviously taking the Redbird Rush Hour up to 5:45. Time now for our Game Day Men's Health Peak Performer. Get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health. Matt, I would say that Brendan Donovan is at the top of his game. Number 11 in all of Major League Baseball in wins above replacement. Sorry, number 12.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, that's wrong. He's tied for 10th with Jacob Wilson and Will Smith. So there are only 10 players in the game that have more wins above replacement. He is top 25 in offensive totals, so like weighted runs created plus, things along those lines. Brendan Donovan is an all-star.
He's an all-star.
To this point.
Yeah.
He's got to continue to make the team, but he's an all-star.
If these numbers hold up, he could be like top 10 in MVP voting.
I mean,
depending on what else happens
and where
around
the
the
team
league.
finishes and all
Right.
that. Yeah.
But I mean, that's what we're talking. And I'm not saying here I'm top 10, not top 5, not that it's going to be, legitimate MVP contention. But right now, where the numbers are at, there's a possibility that could get him top 10 MVP voting.
I mean, he's a critical player. I think this is the offseason. You got to extend him. Again, assuming he wants to sign and is willing to, you got to do it this offseason. This player is so valuable because he's a quality defender at 4 spots, maybe even 5 if we include first base. The only spot he's really not quality would be center field and shortstop. Other than that, you're getting a pretty good defensive player, although he's best at second base and left field. But this is a super valuable guy because he hit at the top of the order. He's not a home run hitter, but that doesn't matter because he gets on base a ton.
I saw Hein Bloom earlier today. He's in town right now. He's not in for every game. He's not here for every series.
Right.
His family is still based in Boston, and they're in the process of moving to St. Louis. But when he's he's probably talking to Mo on an almost everyday basis, no matter what. But when he's in town, maybe those are good opportunities to say, hey, is this do we start to engage on a contract extension here?
If you guys ever want to jump in on the show, feel free. You can jump in on the chat, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can text 314-436-7900. You'll enjoy this one, Matt. I've been answering this one on the chat.
I saw your.
This is Jay who says that Oliver's the biggest problem to all of this! Exclamation point. He's just not man enough to apologize to Cardinals fans for 2 bad seasons. The problem Busch Stadium will be packed if Mozeliak and Marmol apologize. Jay, are you a child? Are you a child? Are you 10? If you just say you're sorry, we'll come back. No, listen. What needs to happen is the team needs to sustain this quality of play for a couple of months. If they're at a 93 win pace in late June, you will see the place start to fill up again. This is just about to prove it, right? I mean, it's not about words. It's not about I'm sorry. It's just you got to play good baseball for an extended period of time. That's it.
Let's play along here for a second because Oliver Marmol has nothing to apologize for.
Wait, hold on. He doesn't have to apologize that his 2 veteran stars didn't hit it all last year?
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
And I'm not even an Ollie apologist. I criticize when I need to, but come on, man.
Let's go to an alternate universe, Kevin, where Oliver Marmol does have something to apologize for. I could go grab him right now and say, hey, can we put you on the radio and throw you on the video? And can you give us a heartfelt apology? You know how many people are going to show up to Busch Stadium because of that?
0.
Like maybe 1 if Jay buys a ticket. Like that's it. Nobody cares. Like that is a ridiculous statement.
It's about winning. Yeah, exactly right. All right. We got one more bit of business to take care of. Before we do that, though, let's check some traffic and tell you how things look around downtown St. Louis with Captain Roger Brand.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, it's still got some jams, Kevin, out there. This traffic report's a service of FanDuel Sports Network. We've had our second crash of the afternoon, eastbound 270. This one's at the Canal Bridge, so it's a solid jam, eastbound 270 back to Bell Fountain. Westbound 70, still stuff at the city limits. It's jammed west of Hanley out through Lindbergh. There's a crash blocking the Lindbergh exit and the right through lane there. Southbound 170 bumper to bumper, solid from Olive to 64. Eastbound 64, ball game traffic through the Chesterfield Parkways and Spady all the way to Big Bend. Westbound 64 from Boyle out to about McCausland. It's slow. Lindbergh to Ballas, Clarkson all the way to Boone's Crossing and Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 70 south. 270. Stop-and-go stretches from Page down through 64, but it's slow most of the way down through to Gravois. There's a crash on the shoulder near there. Southbound 55 Arsenal to Bates heavy. Westbound 70 leaving the city. Riverview out through Jennings Station is also kind of crowded, and westbound 64 is slow from about the 70 split as you make your way across the Poplar Street Bridge, so just be careful coming through there. A lot of traffic for Illinois drivers right now as well. Cards fans, there are more ways this season to watch the Cards on FanDuel Sports Network. Watch through your TV provider, or new this year, subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. I'm Roger Brand in the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Matt, let's close it out with tonight. So you got game 2 of the series. This will be the tough one of the series. I think the Cardinals have a great chance tomorrow because it looks like another bullpen day for Detroit. They pushed Jack Flaherty back, so he will not be pitching tomorrow.
Which is a bummer. We would have liked to see Jack
would have been
Flaherty,
nice. Would have been nice. But they got Tarek Skubal tonight, who was obviously the American League Cy Young Award winner last year. He's one of the handful of the best pitchers in baseball. But if you look at the stars that the Cardinals have beaten this year, Pablo Lopez on opening day, by the way, go look at his numbers. Low 2s ERA right now for the Minnesota Twins. Pablo Lopez, Zach Wheeler, Paul Skeens twice. They have handled some studs and some aces. So I'm not sure that means it's an automatic loss, but I mean, nobody likes looking over there and seeing a Cy Young candidate on the mound.
No, but you know what? And this is another thing.
I forgot Cole Reagans. They beat him too.
Yeah. So Ali talked about this today, that really they do get up, whether it's playing a good team like the Phillies or whether you're going up against a top level pitcher, that they get up for those games. Not that other games mean less, but just those maybe mean a little bit more.
I'd be lying if I said it didn't mean a little more, because you want to see how you size up against these teams that are playing really good baseball, right? So New York was one of those, Philly was one of those, Kansas City going into that environment. They got some good arms. We wanted to see what that looked like. And then obviously the Tigers have been playing best baseball out of anybody. Their lineup is real, man. These guys could thump a little bit. They have different ways of beating you. The arm will face tonight in the lefty is really good. So these are good tests, and you want to see how you measure up. But when you take a game like we did yesterday, it does give the group some confidence as to where we are as a club and where we're headed. Tonight will be a very good test. So I'm looking forward to the matchup tonight more than anything.
I appreciate the honesty there that, these games do. And not that they mean more in the standings, but just in terms of a litmus test, they tell you a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to disagree with Ollie here, but managers will always say that. And then if you lose the game, you're going to say it didn't matter. It doesn't change anything. I mean, I do agree, though, that opposing pitcher, you get excited about facing, the pitcher is going to be excited about facing a good lineup. Your lineup's going to be excited about trying to beat one of the best in the game. You do get a little bit more locked in on those types of things. But I always hesitate because not this team, every team kind of goes back and forth on those things, on whether it matters or whether it doesn't. And I don't know that there's an answer, but I appreciate how this team has handled facing those guys and those teams, especially the last 3 weeks.
I would push back on this. What we just heard from Ali, I actually don't think we hear that very often. I think generally manager speak is every game is worth the same. It's all one game. Hearing the manager say, yeah, you know what? Some of these games, they just, they help us learn about ourselves, and there is some more value to that. I actually don't think that's something we hear that often.
Well, no, I mean, you're sure you learn more about it, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to hear the opposite. And again, Ollie's pretty good. I'm not really pointing on him because you see this stuff all the time where teams will say what's convenient for the moment. Well, we're not going to make too much of this loss, but if we win it, well, that's a big deal and we learn something from it. I'm always careful about listening to those things. But he hasn't done the other, so I guess I shouldn't lump him in that just yet. At least I haven't heard him do the other.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Pregame coming up, man. Enjoy it. Have fun at the ballpark. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
We'll have a full show tomorrow following the afternoon game. That's Matt Pauley. I'm Kevin Wheeler. Cardinals baseball is coming your way next, right here on your home for the Cards, 104.1 KMOX.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They